If you're over 60, have you ever feared the day when tying your shoes leaves you breathless? When your ankles swell by evening? Or when your heartbeat pounds so hard it feels like a drum inside your chest? These aren't just signs of getting older. They can be your heart whispering that its valves are wearing down, like rusty hinges on a door that suddenly refuse to close. In this video, I'll reveal the 7 early signs of heart valve problems you should never ignore. Catching them early could save you from losing independence, from that terrifying midnight fall, from becoming the burden you've always dreaded. And beyond survival, here's the gift: the chance to keep cooking Sunday dinner, laughing at the porch with neighbors, holding your grandchild without fear. Through 30 years of walking beside older patients, I've learned that what keeps them awake at night isn't death. It's the thought of no longer cooking their own meals, driving to see friends, or being strong enough to lift a grandchild. That quiet fear of losing freedom, of becoming a burden, is heavier than any diagnosis. If you've ever felt that, type 1 in the comments. And if you're over 60, share your age. We read and answer every story because your voice matters here. Stay close, because the very first sign isn't something you feel at all, but a hidden sound your doctor may hear, the quiet murmur of a struggling heart. 1. Heart murmur. Robert, 68, a retired carpenter from Ohio, thought he was in pretty good shape. He still drove himself to the hardware store, helped his daughter fix things around the house, and loved taking his grandkids out for ice cream on Saturdays. At his annual Medicare checkup, he felt fine, until his doctor paused while listening to his chest. Through the stethoscope came a faint whooshing sound, like air leaking from a bicycle tire. It was a heart murmur. A murmur isn't something you can feel. It's what your doctor hears when blood flows unevenly through a valve. Imagine a garden hose with a small tear. Instead of a smooth stream, the water sprays sideways and makes a hiss. In your heart, that leak can mean a valve is narrowing, stenosis, or not closing tightly, regurgitation. Here's the frightening part. You can feel perfectly normal while the damage silently builds. The American Heart Association reports that up to 2.5% of Americans have valve disease, many without symptoms, and new murmurs always require further testing with an echocardiogram. Ignoring that sound can mean years later you suddenly collapse or end up in the ER with advanced valve failure. But catching it early is like spotting a small crack in your car's engine before it blows. With monitoring and treatment, doctors can protect your heart's strength, so you can keep walking to church, cooking Sunday dinner, or playing ball with your grandkids without fear of losing your independence. If you're over 60, never dismiss a new heart sound. Ask your doctor to listen carefully at every checkup. And if you found this story helpful, share it with your spouse or a close friend, because one simple stethoscope check could save years of health and freedom. Stay with me. Next, we'll talk about shortness of breath, a sign many people confuse with just getting older. 2. Shortness of breath. Now let's move from the silent sound of a murmur to something you can actually feel: shortness of breath. Many older adults wave it off as just getting older, but often it's your heart signaling distress. Take Mary, 70, from Florida. She used to start each day with a brisk walk around the block, but lately she's been stopping halfway, leaning against her neighbor's fence, struggling to catch her breath. At night, she props up 2 or 3 pillows because lying flat makes her feel like she's drowning. She told her daughter, "I guess I'm just slowing down." But in reality, Mary's valves weren't letting blood move forward efficiently, and her lungs were paying the price. Here's why. When valves don't open wide or close tight, the heart must pump harder to push blood through. Think of it like traffic backing up on a freeway exit ramp. Cars jam, pressure builds, and everything slows. In your body, that traffic jam means oxygen-rich blood doesn't reach your muscles or lungs, leaving you gasping even for simple tasks like climbing stairs or walking to the mailbox. The American Heart Association identifies shortness of breath as a hallmark sign of valve disease. Johns Hopkins research shows that up to 60% of patients with advanced mitral or aortic valve disease experience breathlessness, often worsening over time. It's one of the most reliable red flags. Ignoring it is risky. It can mark the start of heart failure, but caught early, doctors can intervene with medications or minimally invasive valve repair, helping you keep your independence. So if you find yourself needing more pillows at night or losing breath halfway down the block, don't dismiss it. Tell your doctor and share this with your spouse or a friend, because protecting your breath means protecting your freedom and staying active with the people you love. And speaking of energy, in the next chapter, we'll look at fatigue and weakness, the kind that makes everyday life feel like climbing a mountain. Even if it feels like just getting older, shortness of breath is your heart waving a red flag. Like a freeway traffic jam, oxygen backs up and leaves you gasping, sometimes the very first step toward heart failure. The American Heart Association warns this symptom is too often ignored until it's too late. Please, don't risk missing it. If you want to stay on the porch with your spouse or keep walking with your grandkids, listen to your breath. And keep watching, because next we'll talk about fatigue and weakness when even everyday stairs can feel like a mountain.
3. Fatigue and weakness. From struggling to breathe, we move to another sign that's just as easy to overlook: fatigue and weakness. This isn't ordinary tiredness after a long day. It's the kind that lingers, draining joy from the simplest moments. Take James, 72, from Michigan. He used to carry in the groceries and kneel in the garden beside his wife. Now, halfway up the porch stairs, his legs feel like cement blocks. He sits, chest heavy, sweat beading on his forehead even though the air is cool. Rest doesn't help. He tells his grandson, "Grandpa just needs a nap," but inside he's worried. What if I can't keep up anymore? Here's the science. When valves don't open or close properly, your heart pumps less blood forward. It's like trying to water your roses with a kinked garden hose. No matter how much pressure you apply, only a trickle reaches the flowers. In your body, that trickle means your muscles and brain run on low fuel, leaving you exhausted after even the lightest chores. The Cleveland Clinic reports that over 50% of patients with valve disease report persistent fatigue, often dismissed as just aging. Left untreated, this weakness can progress to heart failure, forcing people to rely on walkers, oxygen tanks, or family members for daily tasks. The hopeful news? With early evaluation, sometimes just a checkup and an echocardiogram, doctors can intervene with medication or minimally invasive valve repair. Many patients describe feeling like someone turned the lights back on. So if fatigue lingers, don't shrug it off. Protecting your energy means protecting your independence and staying present for the people you love. And keep watching, because next we'll talk about chest pain and pressure, the kind that feels less like a quick jab and more like an elephant pressing down on your chest.
4. Chest pain and discomfort. From fatigue and weakness, we move to another warning sign that often gets brushed aside: chest pain or pressure. This isn't the sharp stab you feel when you twist wrong. It's the heavy, squeezing kind, like someone tightening a belt too tight or an elephant pressing down on your chest. Linda, 66, from Texas, first felt it while carrying laundry upstairs. At first, she thought it was heartburn. The pressure spread across her chest, her breathing grew shallow, and sweat trickled down her back, though the house was cool. She sat on the edge of the bed until it passed. But the pain returned every time she walked more than a block. She worried, what if this happens when I'm alone with my grandkids? Here's what happens. When valves stiffen or narrow, blood struggles to leave the heart. The muscle strains like a car engine revving hard up a steep hill. It overheats. In your chest, that overheating feels like tightness, heaviness, or crushing weight. The American College of Cardiology reports that chest discomfort affects over 1/3 of patients with aortic stenosis, often before diagnosis. Left unchecked, It can lead to severe heart muscle damage or sudden collapse. The hopeful news? Caught early, doctors can restore blood flow through medication, valve repair, or replacement. Many patients return to enjoying daily walks, Sunday church, and dinners with family without fear. If you ever feel chest heaviness that eases with rest, don't ignore it. Write down when it happens, how long it lasts, and share it with your doctor. Protecting your heart means protecting your independence and your place at the family table. And stay with me. Next, we'll look at palpitations, when your heartbeat itself starts fluttering, racing, or skipping, sending its own warning signals.
5. Palpitations and irregular heartbeat. From that heavy chest pressure, let's move to another warning sign, when your heartbeat itself goes out of rhythm. Palpitations can feel like a flutter, a skipped beat, or pounding so strong you notice it in your chest or even your throat. George, 69, from Pennsylvania, first felt it one summer evening on his porch after mowing the lawn. Suddenly, his chest thumped so hard he saw his shirt jump. Other nights, he described it as a bird trapped inside. He told his wife it must be the extra coffee, but when it happened during a quiet church service, he felt a flash of fear. What if my heart gives out in front of everyone? Here's what's happening. When valves don't close properly, blood swirls and creates turbulence inside the heart. That uneven flow irritates the electrical system, causing beats to race or stumble, like a washing machine that's off balance, shaking the whole house. The Mayo Clinic notes that about 40% of people with mitral valve prolapse experience palpitations, and studies show valve-related irregular rhythms can double the risk of stroke. Beyond the flutter itself, the real danger is blood clots forming when the heart doesn't beat steadily. The hopeful news, with early evaluation, doctors can often manage palpitations with medication, rhythm monitoring, or valve repair, helping patients regain steady, dependable heartbeats. If your heart skips, flutters, or pounds for no reason, don't dismiss it. Keep a simple diary. Note the time, what you were doing, how long it lasted, and share it with your doctor. That small habit could protect you from bigger risks. And please, tell a loved one too. Protecting your rhythm means protecting your family's peace of mind. And coming up next, we'll look at dizziness and fainting, moments when the brain doesn't get enough blood and independence can be lost in a single fall.
6. Dizziness, lightheadedness, and fainting. From those racing or fluttering beats, we move to another signal that can steal your independence in seconds: dizziness, lightheadedness, or fainting. Evelyn, 71, from Ohio, was pruning roses in her garden when she suddenly stood up and the world tilted. Her knees buckled and she clung to the fence as her vision blurred. A week later, she fainted in the kitchen, a glass shattering on the floor beside her. Her daughter rushed in, panicked, saying, "Mom, you could have broken your hip." Evelyn felt shaken, embarrassed, and afraid of being alone. Here's why. When a valve narrows, the heart can't push out enough blood. The brain gets shortchanged on oxygen, and the body reacts with dizziness or collapse. It's like traffic at a green light suddenly cut off. Cars pile up, chaos follows. In your body, that cutoff leaves your brain in the dark, even if only for seconds. The Cleveland Clinic warns that fainting during activity is one of the most serious signs of aortic stenosis, and the CDC reminds us that 1 in 4 Americans over 65 falls each year, with hip fractures leading to long hospital stays and loss of independence. A fainting spell isn't just a scare, it can be the start of permanent dependence. The hopeful news? With early treatment, sometimes as simple as valve monitoring or repair, patients often return to gardening, cooking, or playing with grandkids without fear of sudden collapse. If dizziness or fainting happens, write it down, call your doctor, and tell your family. Don't keep it secret. Protecting your balance means protecting your freedom and sparing your loved ones the fear of that midnight emergency call. And next, we'll talk about swelling, when ankles, feet, or even the belly quietly fill with fluid, another hidden warning your heart is under strain.
7. Swelling, or edema.
From fainting spells, we move to another sign that creeps in quietly: swelling in the ankles, feet, or belly. It may look harmless at first, but it's often your heart waving a red flag. Walter, 73, from Arizona, noticed his shoes felt tighter by evening. He blamed the desert heat. Then came the sock marks digging deep into his skin and his wedding ring refusing to slide off. One night on the porch, his wife pressed a finger into his ankle. The dent lingered like a thumbprint in clay. They exchanged a worried glance. This isn't normal. Here's the reason. When valves fail, blood flow slows and pressure builds. Fluid seeps into tissues, pooling in the legs and belly. Imagine a clogged kitchen sink. Water has nowhere to go, so it spills over. In your body, that overflow feels like heavy legs, bloating, and tight shoes. The Mayo Clinic explains that edema is among the earliest visible signs of heart failure, and Cleveland Clinic studies show more than 70% of older adults hospitalized for valve disease had swelling beforehand. By the time swelling appears, the heart is already under significant strain. But there's hope. Simple steps like weighing yourself daily, elevating your legs, and calling your doctor early can catch fluid overload before it spirals. With treatment, many patients return to walking, gardening, and family outings without fear of being sidelined. If your shoes don't fit by evening or your ankles leave deep dents, don't ignore it. Write it down, call your doctor, and share this video with a friend your age. Protecting your health means protecting your independence and helping our community of seniors stay strong together. Your heart has worked for you every second of your life, billions of beats without rest. And the big promise is this: if you pay attention to these early signs, you can catch valve problems before they steal your independence. You don't have to become a burden to your family. With early care, you can keep driving to the store, cooking Sunday dinner, and cheering on your grandkids from the sidelines. Modern medicine has powerful tools, from simple checkups to advanced valve repair, but they only work if you act early. So here's what I ask. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share this video with someone over 60 you care about. Protecting one heart may protect an entire family's peace of mind. And don't stop here. This is just the beginning of your heart health journey. In the corner of your screen, you'll see a playlist we created just for you, covering blood pressure, stroke prevention, and everyday habits to keep your heart strong. Click it now and take the next step toward protecting your health and your independence for yourself and for the people who love you most.